Holland from Canada. How are you?
Hello, Brent. I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much.
Are you getting cold out there yet?
Not at all.
No?
I was out barbecuing today in my shirts and my shorts, and no, just kidding.
Yeah. It's only 20 below. Right.
No, it's hovering around, I guess 40, I guess it was about 46, 47 degrees today.
Yeah, well, it's sweater weather, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Things are worse. Where are you? Are you in Hollywood or?
No. I live on the Shambhala Preserve with the lions and tigers.
Very nice. So.
It's awesome. It is really, right now I'm looking out at a tiger who's sleeping in the grass. She's in an area where there's about, an 8-inch growth of nice soft grass. And she's sound asleep.
Oh.
Oh, it's super. Her name is Mona.
I guess you just want to go lie down and cuddle up beside her, do you?
Yeah, you can do that once.
Once? Yeah, we're going to get into that. Are you good to go? Are you just going to start the show?
I thought you already had.
It's okay. We're loosey-goosey here in Canada. You know, we go everywhere, so no worries about that. Okay, here we go. Welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us. Tonight, a living Hollywood legend. Tippi Hedren joins us. Tippi worked with Alfred Hitchcock, Charlie Chaplin. She had a feature film made about her life in 2012 called The Girl, and she continues today making the acclaimed movie Roar. And to top it all off, folks, she even has a Barbie doll made after her. Now, what does that tell you about the stature of our guest tonight? Her book is simply titled Tippi. Simply go to the BrentHollandShow.com, click on tonight's guest book cover, and that will take you to a place where you can order the book from the comfort of your own home. Tippi's daughter is also a Hollywood star, Melanie Griffith, who was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance in the film Working Girl. And Tippi's granddaughter has now gone into the quote-unquote family business as well. Dakota Johnson, who was the lead in 50 Shades of Grey. Welcome to the show, Tippi. It's a great honor and pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you so much.
Bienvenue chez Canada. Welcome to Canada.
And thank you. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Shambhala Preserve.
Thank you so much for that.
Where I live, yes.
Okay, can we just start off very quickly? Can we begin by starting off with your association with Alfred Hitchcock?
Oh, if we have to.
Can we just cover it very quickly?
Very quickly, thank you.
Okay. The reason why I want to do this is because my show has a different demographic, primarily young students in college, in university.
Okay.
And often they're going to be preyed upon.
Oh, well, that's Legion.
Can we talk about your experience then with Hitchcock and how you dealt with that? Because what I'd like to show them is how you dealt with it, and they can incorporate those solutions into their own lives.
Absolutely.
Thank
of course.
you. Okay, so you met Alfred Hitchcock how?
I had been a fashion model going from Minnesota to Los Angeles and then New York, and where I lived for 11 years with Eileen Ford as a model. And of course, in the 50s, that's when television came into our lives, as well as the television commercial. I was able to do a number of commercials. You know, it was a great career, and I loved it. But after about 11 years, the modeling career was waning, and I had my little girl, Melanie, to support, and the dog and the cat and the bunny, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? So I thought, well, let's go move back to California. And so we packed everybody up and moved back to California, and I was thinking, oh dear, this isn't going well. And on Friday the 13th of October of 1961, I received a call asking if I was the girl in the Seago commercial. And I said, yes, I am that girl. And I said, why? They said, well, there's somebody who would like to meet with you. Could you join us at MCA? And they gave me the date and whatever. So I thought, okay, fine, this is all legitimate. MCA was infallible. So I went and met with them, and they ended the conversation with, all right, we're going to leave you in this room with a contract. And if you read it, understand it completely, and sign it, we'll go over to meet Alfred Hitchcock.
Mm.
And I picked my jaw off the floor, you know.
I would be too.
And that's exactly what we did. When we went over to meet Alfred Hitchcock, he opened the door. I had to really stop myself from laughing because, you know, in his television shows, when the weekly television show, he opened the door. And remember when he, you know, remember that? That's what he did.
You saw
That's
the silhouette.
What he did.
Good evening.
Saw the silhouette. And I thought, oh, good, control yourself, Tippi.
Did he have a cigar in hand, too?
No, he didn't have a cigar in hand. He missed out on that one.
First impressions, was he a gentleman? How was he? Was he?
Oh, yes, he was a complete gentleman, and he had one story after the other. It was a very, very wonderful meeting, really wonderful.
Okay, yeah. Then you got cast to be in The Birds, which is a classic.
Yes, I did. That was a surprise, though.
How so? You're a talented young lady.
Well,
How so was that a prize?
Well, yeah, but I hadn't, I'd done a ton of commercials, but I hadn't done any drama. But while I was at the studio, I knew they were working on The Birds, and it never occurred to me that I would even be considered.
Had you read the script?
No.
No, not even. Did you have a synopsis at all?
No. I was, just kind of around the studio meeting people and all of that, and I met Mrs. Hitchcock and their daughter and their grandchildren and everybody, and it was a really amazing time. I knew they were working on The Birds, but I had no idea. And then one night I was invited to Chasen's restaurant in Beverly Hills. Lou Wasserman's president of MCA, and he joined us at the table. Hitch placed a very beautifully wrapped package in front of me. Alma was there, his wife. I opened the package, and it was a very beautiful gold and seed pearl pin of 3 birds in flight.
Wow.
And I looked at it, and I looked at him, and I looked at Alma, and I looked at Mr. Wasserman. And Hitch said, "We want you to play Melanie Daniels in The Birds." Well, you know what? You could have blown me over with a feather. I was so stunned.
Did you see the doors opening and kind of heaven being presented to you at that point?
It was the biggest door I've ever seen. Yes.
Thrust open.
Yes.
Wow. Now, when did you find out about your character and the role that Alfred wanted you to play?
We called him Hitch.
Hitch.
Nobody who knew him ever called him Alfred.
Uh-oh.
He was never Alfred.
I better look out for lightning bolts.
Yeah, you better look out.
Okay, so he hands you the script. You read the script. You find out Melanie Daniels. She play a strong woman's part for the era. Yes. And that's what I really was attracted to about this role for you. And do you think it's something that he saw in you, that you were a strong, together single mom?
Well, I think there must have been something. I don't know what he thought, but at least I was extremely honored in order to have that opportunity to do that film. And it wasn't an easy film to do with all those birds,
Now, how long were you in the shooting before the insinuendos and things of that nature started?
Well, it kind of started in The Birds, but it was mostly towards the end of Marnie that it became unbearable. Mm. Most women are going to have these kinds of situations in their lives, and if you're not prepared as to how to handle it, you can get in real trouble. I had parents who taught me very, very well about what is acceptable and what isn't, and your feelings are involved, and it's a very complicated situation. But the best way to not get into that kind of situation is to never let it start. Stop it before it starts. That has served me very well throughout my life.
How did he react when you tried to stop it?
Well, when I demanded to get out of the contract, he said, "I'll ruin your career." And I said, "Do what you have to do." And I walked out.
Wow, chutzpah.
And what he did was he kept me under contract. Apparently, there were several films, and I never knew which ones they were, but I was never given that information that directors and producers wanted me for. Because when I got out of The Birds and Marnie, I was hot as an actress.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, there were a lot of films, but he just kept me under contract.
What would you say to young women today in a student role that may have a domineering teacher, if you will, that kind of gives them the hint that if they do little favors...
Domineering is one thing, but once they start that other level, get out of it, say no, just get out of the room, get out. Don't even let it get started.
Was there anybody you could talk to? Was there any recourse facilities or anything in the union that you could go to and say, hey, listen?
No, there really wasn't, and I don't know that there are now. I don't know that there are now. I talked to Peggy Robertson, who was his assistant. She commiserated with me and all of that, and, which is lovely, but I finally said, I want to get out of this contract. Said he'd ruined my career, and he tried.
Now, your daughter, beautiful Melanie, went into the business as well. Were you able to coach her and warn her away from...
Well, she saw all of this. I think life is the best teacher in the world, and she saw all this that was going on with me, how angry I was and how distressing it was, getting out of the contract and all of that. So she saw it firsthand.
You're also close with Dakota, your granddaughter.
Oh, yes, very.
Has she been able to learn from your experience as well? Or?
Oh, I think experience is the best teacher. Oh. And observing what happens is a very good teacher.
Does it continue today, Tippi, do you think?
Oh, sure it does. I think it always will. And that's why young women have to learn very, very early in their lives. Who do I want to be? What do I want to become? What do I think of myself? How do I value myself? The first thing you do is you don't ever encourage that.
Okay.
That kind of relationship, ever. And if it does happen to you, make your feelings known, how you feel about it, and that if that's what it's going to take, I'm out. I'm gone.
I like that. I think that's very strong and inspiring for the people that are listening. Now, there's a lot of film students listening, without question. Tippi Hedren.
Hello.
There's a lot of film students listening, budding actresses and everything else.
Yeah, and it's the most important thing you can do is have respect for yourself.
Bingo. How do you approach character? For example, how did you rely on Hitch for a lot of direction? Do you?
I did. Hitch and his wife Alma, they were my drama coaches.
Okay.
And yes, I did rely on them because it was my first movie.
Right.
It was my first acting role I had. I did a ton of commercials, and you get a basic education in cameras and the lights, all of that, which becomes just rote for you after a very short time. But becoming a character is another thing completely. That's where the term acting comes in. So there's a lot of education that you can acquire through listening to other people and drama classes, and it's a very demanding career.
It sure is.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful career.
Yes, it is, without question. Let's talk about your work with Charlie Chaplin, can we?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I think I am the only woman, only actress who ever worked with both of them. I believe I am. And so I was lucky enough to be able to appreciate both of their acting tutoring. Hitchcock was he and his wife were really wonderful in helping me because The Birds was my first film. With Charlie, I honestly I just loved it. Marlon Brando wanted to quit. The way Charlie directed was he'd get out on the set and act out all of our roles. And Sophia and I both just loved it, Sophia Loren. And I just loved watching Charlie because he would become my character. He would become Sophia's character, then Marlon's. Marlon wanted to quit because he was a method actor.
Right.
And this was not the way he did his roles at all, by copying somebody else. It was a very interesting set.
So Charlie was not open to any input, or is that mistaken?
No, I think he was as far as I was concerned, as far as Sophia was concerned. And we discussed the roles and all of that, but But to see him become my character in Sophia's and Marlon's, it was just beautiful.
How did he rein in Marlon in the end?
He was under contract.
Okay. So Marlon had to behave.
Yes.
There's
Isn't it great? I just love all this. I really do. I love looking back on it.
Well, we love having you here, let me tell you, because we're the outsiders, right? We're always outside looking in, trying to figure how things, because people are people, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Bless them.
And thank God for that.
Yes.
And this is going to prove it, folks. Listen to this quote by Tippi. In fact, I think I have had a ghost in my house. Tippi Hedren. Although not actively lately, unexplainable things would happen, and the kiddies, well, were particularly sensitive, especially Marlon Brando, the cat, not the man. Can you tell us where this quote came from?
Well, I adopted the whole litter of kittens to explain the cat. It was one of the best things I've ever done. A neighbor in Acton called me and said, Tippi, I've got this litter of kittens and 6 kittens, and I need to find homes for them. Can you help me? And I said, oh, sure, bring them down to Shambhala. We've got a lot of animal lovers coming through here. Well, he came down with this box, and he opened the box, and all 6 kittens looked up at me and said, hi, Mom. And I adopted all of them.
Oh.
And I would advise everybody to do that. We had 7 of us had the best time. When they were little, they slept in the crook of my arm. I'd curl my arm around them. As they grew, they'd slowly move down to the end of the bed, and then pretty soon they were off on their own. And not on their own, but they were on their own in my house and my garden. And they all lived with me. And it was the best fun. And I explained to them when they first came to me that they were all eating on one plate. I'm not getting 6 plates out for them. You're all going to eat together. You got that? And they said, sure, Mom, fine, okay.
What were the characteristics that the cat that ended up being named Marlon Brando have that remind you of Marlon Brando?
Well, what it was I got 6 cats, I have to name them. And so I named them all after my leading men. I had Rod Taylor and Sean Connery,
you did.
Marlon Brando. It was like that.
Okay, tell us some behind-the-scenes stories. Sean Connery.
Oh, consummate actor, an awesome personality. Just absolutely the best, a real gentleman. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about that man.
Rod Taylor?
Absolutely wonderful. Rod Taylor was fun, and we dated a little bit, couple of dates every now and then. And I have never gotten romantically involved with any of my dating men, so I'm going to disappoint you on all of those questions.
Oh, I wasn't looking for that. I was just wondering if you ever teased any of your, like Hitchcock, or did you tease Chaplin? Did you ever do little things to bug them?
Not deliberately. I'm sure I did a lot to annoy them, but not deliberately, no.
Any screaming or yelling going on set?
No.
Wow.
No, not on my sets, there aren't. No.
Okay, good.
No, I work very well with directors. I apparently take direction well, and I really try to be putty in their hands for us, and we discuss the characters, in depth, and that's the work that's really fun. That's where the fun comes in.
That's where the fun comes in. When you do multiple takes, is it annoying to you?
Something I don't think I've ever had a director who pulled that on me.
Oh, good. I hear that's quite common today because of digital filming. Instead of 2 or 3 takes, people will go 35, 36, 37 takes, and I think it gets a little...
Oh, I would have walked out. I would have said, if you haven't got it by now, forget it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I watch the movie The Birds, and I get creeped out every single time.
Great. Isn't that awesome? That was done in the 60s.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Were you creeped out shooting any of those scenes? There's rumors flying around that when you're in the phone booth, I should say, that when the bird comes, you were surprised about that, and you weren't expecting that, and that really...
No, what surprised me is when they told me it was shatterproof glass, and it wasn't.
Oh.
And after after that bird hit the glass while I was in the phone booth, we spent the entire rest of the day picking glass out of my face with a tweezer.
Oh.
No, that was, and that was nobody's, apparently everybody was under the thought that it was shatterproof glass.
Oh, man. Everything was copacetic on the set.
Pretty much. Yeah, but, with
was there
that
anything
movie,
you objected to in terms of being directed either by Charlie or Hitch?
Anybody? No. Nothing that was overt or...
There's been rumors abound that they're going to remake The Birds. Would you like to be involved in that if asked?
No.
Oh, you're over and done with it, eh? So move on next.
No.
Okay.
No, and you know what? There was so much of it would be CGI that it wouldn't have the excitement and the romance that having live birds to work with gives you. You'd be working on stages that there isn't a bird in sight, unless, yeah. It would be entirely different, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, CGI I think has taken away from films.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's stay on something else that's creepy now. Okay. I've got a hard copy of The Exorcist from 1971.
No.
Apparently, it's true, I do. And every now and then I'll watch the head spin, just for the fun of it. Apparently now, you're given credit for the photo of the author, William Peter Blatty.
Yes.
Have you had a career as a photographer in the past that we didn't know about?
No, but I do love taking pictures. And I've kind of let that go recently, but when you've got all these lions and tigers, they're the best, one of the most beautiful animals in the world, and they're funny and they're scary and all kinds of wonderful adjectives about them.
That's a great segue for my next question. Let's talk about war and your work you're doing today, which is integral.
Okay.
Can you set up Roar for us and how that came about?
Yes. Well, I had done two films in Africa in 1969 and 1970, and we did them back to back. During those years, all those years ago, environmentalists all over the world were talking about the fact and really getting the word out that if we don't do something right now to save the animals in the wild by the year 2000, they'll all be gone. And that was due to encroaching civilization, sport hunting, poaching, killing the animals. And so my then husband and I decided to do a movie about that issue, and we chose the great cats to be our leading crew.
Actors or...
Actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actors. Well, that's a romantic notion, isn't it?
Well, I'm trying to control those beasts. Now, I understand you got mauled on the set.
Well, I wouldn't call it mauled, but I did get scratched in my face, and that was not a lot of fun. But I had a good doctor, and I have no scars.
Will there be a Roar 2?
Absolutely not.
Oh. 35 million Canadians in unison just went, oh.
Oh, no. No, that we all lived through this one was amazing. It was amazing. Our DP, Jan de Bont, was scalped. And somebody was always going to the hospital. They were going to name they were talking about naming a wing at the Palmdale Hospital after us. We were there so much. So, no, there won't be a sequel, no.
What's your next project?
Well, I have the Shambhala Preserve, and we've been rescuing big cats that have been born in captivity to be sold as a pet or for financial gain. And I've been doing that since the early 70s. Actually, we started when we were doing our movie. So we became a rescue for these huge animals.
What makes you the angriest over all that? What are
that people would even consider breeding these apex predators to be sold as a pet, because that's what they are. They're lions and tigers. One of four of the most dangerous animals in the world. And so many people in the United States think that, oh, these kittens, these little cubs are so cute. People buy them, and then all of a sudden they're dealing with an animal they can't control. It's an unconscionable thing to do. I got a bill passed in '03 that stopped the interstate travel of lions and tigers, which cut down a lot of that.
Thank goodness. You know, Jane Goodall's been on the show. I don't know if you know Jane personally.
I do.
Oh, wonderful.
And respect her highly, yes.
What an incredible woman. And I'm getting the same sense from her that I'm getting from you. And that is we must be conscious, ever conscious of everything, every single piece of life on this earth.
Absolutely, we must.
Without
and
question.
To not abuse or mistreat them.
Final question for you. I don't want to take up any more of your time. You've already been most gracious.
Oh,
You're literally talking to every student in Canada right now through the community network, through campus
I'm
radio.
Honored. Thank you. Thank you.
What would you say to them?
Whatever you're learning in your university or college or whatever, take advantage of every ounce of information that you can get. Treasure it. You know, it will affect your life for the remainder of your life. It will help you. Some of the friends that you make during these years, you'll appreciate for the rest of your life. These years are probably the most informative that you will receive. So take advantage of everything that you're learning and treasure it. And your teachers and your friends. And I still have friends that I went to college with, high school and college. They do become lifelong friends.
Thank
it's
you
a wonderful
for that.
time of your life.
I think that's perfect. Thank you so much for that. Folks, we've been speaking with Tippi Hedren, www.brenthollandshow.com. Click on tonight's guest book cover. It's simply titled Tippi. And you're going to get all what we've talked about and more. And there's lots more coming from Tippi, always. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming on the show.
Oh, well, thank you. And look us up at Shambhala, SHAMBALA.org, O-R-G, and see what I'm doing now.
Wonderful. You take care.